Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to the class, guys. I hope you guys are doing well. A very good morning as well. So yesterday we had a class on introduction of Indus Valley civilization, and today our class is going to be on sites of Indus Valley civilization. Yesterday we did discuss a few sites, but today we will be discussing more about them and in a lot more details. Those details you can expect to get in your exams. So that's what our class will be today about. And before I begin, I'd also like to tell you that you should join us on Telegram. So I'm sure you can see this link and the scan code on your screen. So all you have to do is click on the link or on the scan code and you can join our Telegram group. Now this Telegram group will tell you a lot about the upcoming classes. If you require some assistance, some notes or anything like that, you will be getting all of the assistance there. So do join the Telegram group. Also, before we begin, please, it's a request to everyone to also subscribe to the channel and press the bell button, because then you will be notified whenever we post a new video. So without further ado, let's start the class. And before I start the class, I'll just give you my brief introduction. So my name is Nickey Sinha and I'll be your Indian history educator. And I'll be teaching you all about Indian history, from ancient to medieval to modern. Everything will be covered by me. I have done my graduation from Lady Shri Ram College for Women, did my masters from JNU. I'm still pursuing my PhD from JNU itself. And here I'll be taking your classes, and let's get started. All right. So if you could just tell me, guys, if there is any problem with the audio or anything like that, if I am audible and visible. I'll also check from my side. Okay. So I think it's absolutely fine. You can see me, you can hear me. I'm very much audible and very much visible. चलिए, तो हम बिना टाइम वेस्ट किए करते हैं चालू अपनी क्लास को. Without wasting any more time, let's start with the class. Okay. Alright, so as I had told you that today we will be talking about the sites of Indus Valley civilization. Now there are a lot of sites. There are more than 100 sites which have been discovered. Right, so we can't just go on and on talking about those 100 sites, but what we can do is that we can narrow down on some very important sites, and that's what we will be talking about. So we will be narrowing it down to all those important sites, and that's what we will be talking about. So yesterday I spoke to you about Harappa, Mohenjo-daro. These are the major sites. And today I'll be talking about some other sites. I would not say that they're not so important. They are absolutely important, guys. But yes, they are, maybe those sites about which we were not taught in our school level. But since we are preparing for our UPSC exams, we're preparing for our state PSCs, we have to be familiar with them as well. So let's start. The first site that we will take up is called Alamgir Pur. I'm so sorry, where is mine? I'm sorry, I lost my pen tab. Okay, so the first site that we are taking is Alamgir Pur. Now, Alamgir Pur is an archaeological site of Indus Valley civilization. Now, where is it located? Now, these are some important points that you'll have to remember. It is located along the Yamuna river. ये सारे जो हैं ये important points हैं जो हमें याद रखने हैं. These are important points that we must remember. Then obviously from the Harappan Bara period, it is located in the Meerut district in Uttar Pradesh. Now this is the location of the place. What is this? This is basically the location of the place. Then it is the easternmost site of the civilization. Now this can definitely come as a question, that what is the easternmost site of the civilization of Indus Valley civilization, and the answer is going to be Alamgir Pur. The site was partially excavated in 1858-59 by ASI, or Archaeological Survey of India. On excavation, the site showed four cultural periods with intervening breaks. The earliest of them, represented by a thickness of 6 feet, belonged to the Harappan culture. Now, what do you mean by this? On excavation, the site showed four cultural periods. So basically, what we are trying to understand here is that the site has seen around four cultural, or basically four different historical cultures you can talk about. The earliest of them, which is around 6 feet, 6 feet wide, it is represented by a thickness of 6 feet. That particular culture belongs to the Harappan culture, and anything above that belong to different cultures. So maybe it first of all it became part of some Mahajanpads, then it became part of empires, then it became part of some other empires, some other dynasties. So basically it shows four different time periods, and the earliest one that we have discovered, which has a thickness of around 6 feet, that belonged to the Harappan culture. So earliest, so what we can say, the history of Alamgirpur actually starts from the history of Harappa. Okay. Although kin burnt bricks were in evidence, no structure of this period was found, probably due to the limited nature of the excavation. Brick sizes were 11.25 to 11.75 in length, 5.25 to 6.25 in breadth, and 2.5 to 2.75 in thickness. Okay, so we have found some brick kilns. Now, brick kilns are basically the place where bricks are made. They are burnt, they are basically baked so that they form a very sturdy and a strong structure. But we do not find any evidence of this kind of structure. So we know that brick kilns would have been there because we have found burnt bricks and we have found baked bricks, but we have not found any evidence as such. Fine. So maybe the evidence did not survive. It's not necessary that every structure will survive, isn't it? So that was one of the major issues. Now, so we have not found any structure of brick kilns. Now, this is also because of limited nature of excavations. Now, we might be able to find something like this. We might be able to find the brick kilns if we go on a very thorough excavation, but actually we have not done a very thorough excavation. The excavation has been of a limited nature, and that is maybe one of the reasons why we have not yet discovered a brick kiln. Now, so average brick size, I've already told you, need not remember the sizes, guys, because sizes will keep varying. So that I don't think you need to remember. Larger bricks averaged into 14 inches into 8 into 4, which were used in furnace only. So this kind of bricks, with this this measurement of bricks was basically being used in furnace. Now, furnace is basically a bhatti where all the baking and all the cooking and all will be taking place. Fine. So this kind of bricks was used particularly in furnace. Now, the date range of 2600 2200 BCE has been proposed for the earliest level of Alamgirpur. So that is the time period in which Alamgirpur must have been occupied during Harappan civilization. So from 2600 to 2200 BCE. So we can very safely also assume that this belonged to what? This definitely belonged to the mature phase, isn't it? Because as I told you earlier, as I told you in the last class, the mature phase of Harappan civilization is from 2600 to 1900 BCE. And as you can see the dates mentioned here, we can definitely conclude that Alamgirpur belonged to the mature Harappan phase, right? Now, typical Harappan pottery has been found and the complex itself appeared to be a pottery workshop. Now this is again a very important point. This you must remember, because this can come as an MCQ, this can come in your exam, that which one of these sites were known for their pottery workshop. So Alamgirpur was known for a place which would manufacture a lot of pottery. Other items which we have found include roof tiles, dishes, cups, vases, cubicle dice, beads, terracotta cakes, cards, figurines of a humped bull and snake. Now, these are general things that you can remember. Fine. There were also beads and possibly ear studs made of steatite paste, fines glass, carnelian, quartz and black jasper. Little metal was in evidence. However, a broken blade made of copper has been found. So, there are also ear studs. So, I really hope you understand what ear studs are. So, basically these small earrings that we wear, these are just one stone. So, this kind of ear studs have been found, and they are made of different materials. They are made of steatite paste, fines, glass, carnelian, quartz, agate, black jasper, depending upon what kind of social strata you belong to, because these were material which was difficult to procure. Now, we don't have a lot of metal evidence as such. We have more of these evidence, but we still have found a broken blade made of copper. So again, this is a very important point, guys, because this can definitely come in your exams. ये आपके एग्जाम्स में डेफिनेटली आ सकता है, तो ज़रूर से इसको याद रखिएगा, ठीक है. A small terracotta bead-like structure coated with gold has also been found. Now, this is something really interesting. So, we have a small terracotta bead which has been coated with gold. So, this is an indicator of some rich classes or some rich people maybe living in Alamgirpur. Evidence of cloth is found in a way of impressions on a trough. Yarn used for clothes look fairly fine, and weaving method used in plain weave. So here, this is another very important fact. Please remember this, that we have found evidence of what? We have found evidence of cloth from Alamgirpur. We found evidence of cotton from Alamgirpur. हमें मिला है. How do we know this? Because we have basically found impressions of the weave on clay tablets. Clay tablets or seals or anything which is clay, we have found impressions of the weave. And what kind of weave has been used? Plain weave has been used. So we have found those expressions. Fine. So this is very interesting, guys. So you should remember this. Alright. I hope everyone is okay till here. And if there's any doubts or anything that you might not have understood, you can let me know. If there's any doubt, anything that you might not have understood, you can please let me know. Alright, so I think this is quite clear. So let's move ahead. Okay. Next, what we have is Banavali. Now, Banavali is going to be a very, very, very important structure for us, guys. ये एक बहुत ही important structure होने वाला है हमारे लिए. Let's start. Pani. Okay. So, Banavali. Banavali is an archaeological site. Now, Cholistan and Banavali, I hope you all remember from your NCERT books. It is also the place where we have found terracotta models of plough. Alright, but that's just one evidence which has been mentioned. There are a lot of things which have been mentioned here. So, let's take a look at that. Banavali is an archaeological site belonging to Indus Valley civilization. Now, this is located in Haryana, guys. Where is it located? Haryana. And located about 120 kilometers northeast of Kalibangan, also the place where you have found the first evidence of ploughed field. 16 kilometer from Fatehbad. You don't need to remember all of these details. Just remember that it is located in Haryana. Now, Banavali was earlier called as Vanavali because it is on the left banks of the dried up river Saraswati. So Banavali was earlier known as Vanavali. So also this is a very important point. Please remember this because again this can come as an MCQ, that what was Banavali known as earlier. So Banavali was known as Vanavali, which is on the left banks of the dried up river Saraswati. Now, comparing to Kalibangan, which was a town established in the lower middle valley of dried up Saraswati river, Banavali was built over the upper middle valley of Saraswati river. So again, what do we have to remember here? We have to remember that if Saraswati is flowing like this, okay, so Banavali is located on the upstream part and Kalibangan is located on the downstream part. Now this was excavated, this area, the site has been excavated by R.S. Bisht, please remember this, in 1974. Quite late, but still it was discovered by R.S. Bisht. The excavations revealed the following sequence of cultures. So we have found when planned houses constructed out of kin burnt and molded bricks. So again, the houses here are made up of what? The houses here are made up of very fine burnt bricks or basically molded bricks which have been given different shapes. Pottery consisting of vase and jar. So we have pottery consisting of vase and we have also found jars. Now they are divided into two groups based on their general design. तो दो ग्रुप्स में डिवाइड किया गया है, दो ग्रुप्स in the sense. So we have divided into vase. Okay, so vase is something, you know, it's this kind of structure, guys. All right, and pottery is something like this. Okay, so this is how we have divided it. This is what vase and pottery, vase and jar looks like. And jar can also be jug, you can say, कुछ इस तरह का भी हो सकता है. And you know, this is the handle, fine. So this could also, you know, look like a jug. I'm so sorry for my bad drawing. I'm really very sorry about it. So this is how it has been divided into two groups. Pottery assemblage is very similar to those found in Kalibangan. Pottery assemblage means how the pottery was made, how the pottery was designed. That is very similar to how it was in Kalibangan. Now, defense wall of more than 105 meters in length, 45 meters in height and 6 meters width has been found at this site. Well-planned Harappan chessboard pattern fortified town measuring 200 meters into 400 meters established during this period. Now what do you mean by chessboard pattern fortification? So how is a chessboard, guys? So I'm sure you know that this is what a chessboard looks like, right? It is divided into squares like this, isn't it? Fine. So similarly, that's the kind of fortification we have found here. We have found a chessboard kind of fortification, fine, which was established during this period. So this is very interesting because it is divided into, you know, squares like it. The fortified area of two adjacent areas, one thought to be for the ruling class and the other for the common people. So this fortified area has been divided into such a manner that one of the area, all right, one of the areas was supposed to be for the ruling class. We don't really know what kind of ruling class was there, but it was supposed to be for the ruling class, right? And the other one was supposed to be for what? The other one was supposed to be for the common people, for the general people to live in. Now, in the area meant for the common people, so the area that we think the common people were living, we have found house blocks with north-south thoroughfares, cutting at right angles, which further connected by east-west lanes, reflecting urban nature of streets. So in yesterday's class only, I had explained to you what is this, grid method. Right? So this is how the houses are constructed. Okay, so you can see that how the east, west and the north, south. So this is north and south. Okay, and this is west and east. Okay, so this is how they are intersecting at right angles. Now this is an indicator of a very urban form of street planning. Now, Houses which were constructed on both sides of the lanes. So if you remember yesterday only I told you that houses would be constructed on both sides of the lane like this, and there would be drainage in the center. So houses were constructed on both sides of the lane, were having rammed earth floor, mud plaster walls, rooms, kitchen, toilet. Houses having storage facilities are similar to the rooms found in the Kuntas. The Kuntas is another site of the Indus Valley civilization that we will be doing in details in the later classes. So what all have we found in the houses? We have found houses being constructed on both sides of the lane, as I've just shown you in the drawing. Then there was a kitchen, there was a toilet, there were storage facilities which have been found. The walls have been plastered with mud, जिसको कहते हैं मिट्टी से लीपा हुआ होना. So all that you have found there. Okay, so this is a little bit about Banavali. We have more. So if you could just let me know if there's any doubts still here, then we can clear those doubts. If not, then we can move ahead. Okay, chaliye, I think we should move ahead then. Now, in a multi-roomed house having kitchen, toilet, several seats, weights were found, indicating that the owner of the house probably may have been a merchant. So we have found a house which has multi-rooms, means which has a lot of rooms. We have found kitchen, we have found toilet, we have found several seals. Now, seals actually are a major indicator of this person being a merchant. Why? Because we know that seals were used for long distance trading, right? We know this from our NCERT books that seal was used for long distance trading. So seals are a major indicator, seals and weights actually are a major indicator that the owner may have been a merchant. There is a bigger house where we have found a huge number of gold beads, again indicating that the person might have been really rich. We found lapis lazuli, we found carnelian, we found tiny weights and touchstone, like stone with streaks of gold. So these are stones which have streaks of gold. So suppose if this is my stone, okay, so there will be little streaks of gold like this, or maybe it is covered with gold, or little traces of gold has been found. Now this is an indicator that the house might have belonged to a jeweler or an ornament maker, because we have found lots of those material which can be used in making jewelry, or basically which can be used in making expensive stuff. Now several houses show evidence of fire altars or havan kund. Now this is an indication that they might have been used for ritualistic purposes, and the amount of fire altars we have found in most of the places, most of the sites in Harappan civilization, it is, I think, a very big indicator that they were into fire worship, or maybe they were into yagyas, or it was used for some kind of ritualistic purpose. So what all other evidences have been found? So we have found S-shaped jars, cooking vessels, ovens, tandoors, painted earthen pots, etc. This is something really interesting, guys. Ovens and tandoors have been found. So please remember this. This has only been found in Banavali. Painted motifs include peacock, people leaves, tree, deer, fish, flowers, intersecting circles, checkerboard patterns, honeycomb patterns. So all of this is an indicator that these things were known to them, right? Otherwise they would not have painted such things. Harappan seals carrying pictures of rhinoceros. So again, guys, we get to know about the animals here. Please remember these points. These points are actually very important. So I'm marking star. मैं यहाँ star mark कर रही हूँ. So Harappan seals carrying pictures of rhinoceros, wild goat, ibex, unicorn, composite animal with tiger body. So composite animal with tiger body means so half human, half tiger body. So you can see that they had some kind of imagination also, or maybe they were into some imaginary characters as well. So gold, copper, bronze pieces, gold beads, copper, lapis lazuli, bangles, shells, etc. All of these things have been found. Now, just look at the amount of gold which has been found here. So, don't you think this is also an indicator of the fact that maybe this was a very rich settlement? This would have been a very socially high settlement, could be. People living here would have been really high on the social strata, or maybe they belonged to good working classes and they were earning really well. This could have been an indicator. The pottery found is comparable with Harappan pottery in fineness, and pottery assemblage is again very similar to the assemblage we have at Kalibang. Other finds include an ivory comb. Ivory is basically elephant teeth, alright. So that is the comb has been made from ivory. A terracotta cake engraved with ass in the sense it has been engraved with donkey. Human figures, both male and female, a tortoise shell, etc. And many gold and silver objects have been found. So again, this is just an indicator of how rich this particular part or this particular settlement would have been. So I really hope everyone is okay till here, and if there's any doubts, you can ask me. Alright, चलिए, I think we should move ahead. हम आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now let's talk about Chanhu Daro. So guys, Chanhu Daro, the most important thing that you have to know about it, this was a center for craft production. That is the most important fact that you have to know, that this was what? This was a center for craft production. So that is the most important thing that you need to know. So Chanhu Daro is an archaeological site, obviously belonging to the Indus Valley civilization. So it is located 130 kilometers south of Mohenjo-daro in Sindh, Pakistan. So where is Chanhu Daro located? Chanhu Daro is in Sindh, Pakistan. Okay. The settlement was inhabited between 4000 to 1700 BCE. So basically, I think this was covering the early to mature phase, right? It was covering the early to mature phase as well, and is considered for having been the center for manufacturing Kalinian beads. So as I told you, it was the center of craft production. All sorts of bead production, shell making, seal making, beads cutting, jewelry making, all the activities were actually taking place here. Now, the site is a group of 3 low mounds that excavations have shown were parts of a single settlement, approximately 7 hectares in size. Now, this site is a group of 3 low mounds. Now, if you remember your NCERT class 12th book 1, I'm sure you understand what mounds are and how they are excavated, right? So, when excavations were done in Chanhu Daro, they were basically 3 mounds like this, okay? I'm not saying that they were in one go like this. They could have been located far away from each other. So Chanhu Daro was basically part of one of these mounds. So one of these mounds which was excavated came to be known as Chanhu Daro. Now, who excavated the site? It was excavated by N.G. Majumdar in 1931. And again during the winter field session in 1935-36 by the American School of Indic and Iranian Studies, and the Museum of Fine Arts, Boston, led by John Henry. So there are two people who are responsible for the excavations here. So we have N.G. Majumdar and then we have John Henry Mackay, so Ernst Mackay basically, who is responsible for carrying out the excavations. Now Professor W. Norman Brown of University of Pennsylvania was instrumental in enabling the funds for this project. See, every project requires funds, every project requires money, and that was given by whom? So that was arranged by Professor W. Norman Brown of University of Pennsylvania. After the independence of Pakistan, Muhammad Rafiq Mughal also did exploratory work in the area. So you just have to remember these names, guys. Just remember that N.G. Majumdar, Ernst Mackay was responsible, and then we have Norman Brown and we have Rafiq Mughal, who were responsible for doing some exploratory work and also providing the funding for the excavation. Now, since 2015, the archaeological excavations have been carried out by the French Archaeological Mission in the Indus Basin, which is directed by Aurore Dedier. So you don't need to remember these, but I would again say that it's not advisable. If you can remember it, very well, good, bahut achhi baat hai. But if you can't, then also it's fine, because I don't think that they will ask you these questions, that what is happening on each and every year, who is responsible for excavation. What is important is that who is the first person to be associated with the excavation, right? Now, the excavations were carried out in cooperation with Department of Archaeology and Museums, Government of Pakistan, and Cultural Department and Government of Sindh. Now, you will ask me, ma'am, why is it that, we have the French Archaeological Mission, we have the American School of Indian and Aryan Studies? Guys, we have to understand that when it was part of India, it would have been easy for us to do the excavations, for ASI to do the excavations. But now, since this is a part of Pakistan, all the excavations are carried out by foreign dignitaries. Okay. If there's any doubts, you guys can let me know. Otherwise, we'll move ahead. And whatever doubts you guys might have, for those who are watching the classes later on, please make sure that you do let me know if there's any problem that you're facing. So you can drop me a comment in the comments box and let me know if there's any improvement that you wish for, if there's anything that you want me to improve, if there's any other points that you would want me to add, any other help that is required. You can let me know all of that, guys. Chaliye, aage badhte hain. So Chano Daro is one of the most important sites of Indus Valley civilization. I've already told you the reason. It was the center of craft production. More than 2,800 sites belonging to the Indus Valley civilization have been identified, and Chano Daro is one of the bigger sites. So Chano Daro is what? Chano Daro is one of the bigger sites, and where a lot of scope has been identified for excavation. So it is a huge site where a lot of excavation is required. However, of late, excavation in the site has not been in progress, leading to decline in contributions from this site. Okay. Now, Saraswati River is believed to have dried up during 2nd millennium BCE, causing life at Chanu Daro and several hundreds of dwellings situated on the banks of river Saraswati to become very difficult. Now, Saraswati River died up around 2nd millennium BCE. And Chano Daro, because it was located there, and other sites which were located on the banks, the life became very difficult. And that is one of the reasons why obviously people would have abandoned their places, people would have abandoned these dwellings, alright, and they would have moved on to other places, fine. And this also could have contributed to the decline of Indus Valley civilization, which we are still not very sure about what contributed to the decline, but this could have been one of the reasons. Now, for building houses, baked bricks have been used extensively. So you can see that the quality of the bricks are quite nice because they're using baked bricks. Now, several constructions were identified as workshops, or industrial quarters, and some buildings of Chanhudaru might have been warehouses. So a lot of buildings have been identified as workshops. Now why workshops, guys? Because remember, I told you that this is a place where what is being done? It is a place for craft production, right? When it is a place for craft production, obviously workshops would be there, because these workshops is what is going to teach the people, or teach anyone who is here to learn the craft, right? There are some industrial quarters where actually all the workings would be taking place. And then there are some warehouses have been identified. Obviously, where do you keep your finished products? You keep your finished products in the warehouses. Evidence of shell working has been found. Bangles and ladles were also made at this site. Harappan seals were made generally in bigger towns like Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Chanhudaru, which were involved in the administrative work. So Harappan seals also have been made at this place, because obviously they're center of craft production, and I told you that all kind of shell working, bead making and seal making was done here. So all of these were also centers of administrative work. Why? Because obviously Chanhudaru is the center of all kind of economic production, guys. Don't you think? Whatever you are producing, you would obviously also send it off for selling purposes. So this was an important center from the administration point of view, and also from the point of view of economy. Okay, so let me know if you have any doubts here. चलिए हम आगे बढ़ते हैं, and let's move on to a very important site, guys, that is Kalibangan. Now Kalibangan का literal meaning होता है it basically means bangles. So it basically means black bangles. Kalibangan. Okay, so Kali means black and Bangan means bangle. Okay, so it is a place. The literal meaning of this place is black bangles. So do remember this. This can come as an MCQ question. So in 1953, Kalibangan, city of the Indus Valley civilization, was excavated by this person called Amla Nand Ghosh. Please remember the name of this person. It's very important. Okay. Now, it is located in the Hanumangarh district of Rajasthan on the banks of the river Gaggar. The river is believed to be the remnant of the ancient river Saraswati. So as I told you in the last slide only, Saraswati river had dried in around 2nd millennium BCE, so 2000 BCE. So basically what is happening here, so Gaggar Hakra is actually known as the remnant. So maybe one of the tributaries or distributaries of Saraswati river. So that's where it is located. Now what all have been found from Kalibangan? Now this is very important. Double citadel. So we have found two citadels here. So yesterday only I explained that how the town of Indus Valley civilization would be divided into two parts. Citadel and the lower town. Citadel was something which was in the higher ground, right? So it was something which was on the higher ground. So we have found double citadel here. What have we found? We have found double citadel here. Then we have found burnt bangles. So maybe that's how it got its name, Kalibangan. We found fire altars. We have found sun-dried bricks. Plowed field, as I told you in the beginning only. We have found wooden plow models. We have found bones of camel. So this is an indicator that camel was also known to them. We have found a lower fortified town. So a lower area, the lower town, which was obviously fortified. we have found evidence of earthquake. So there must have been some kind of earthquake. So this could have been one of the reasons for the decline of this particular place. Also, we have found a copper ox. So an ox has been made, and it has been made from copper. Again, we have found small circular pits with large urns and pottery. So we have found small circular pits. This has been dug in the ground, and we have found lots of pottery. So pottery is something which we have found in almost all of the Harappan sites, guys, isn't it? So this is something which is very common. So I think fire altars and pottery is something which is very common, and even the citadel in the lower town will differ, but these two things I think you're going to find everywhere. Now, so B.B. Lal, who was the former DG, Director General of ASI, writes that Kalibangan in Rajasthan has given the earliest evidence of ploughed field that excavation could have ever revealed. So who said this, and who said that it has revealed evidence of ploughed field? This was said by B.B. Lal. Now B.B. Lal is not just a person who excavated Hastinapur or a village named Hastinapur in Meerut, but he was also the Director General of ASI. Fine. And where has this ploughed field been found? Please remember these points, guys. These are very important points which you might get for your MCQ questions. So this is very important. You must remember. It has been found southeast of the pre-Harappan settlement, outside of the fort. Kalibangan excavations in present western Rajasthan shows ploughed field, the first site of this nature in the world. Again, this is a very, very, very important point. You can see here that they are saying that this is the first site of this nature in the world where we have found evidence of a ploughed field. And where has it been found? It has been found on the western part. Okay, which part? On the western part. Now, it shows a grid pattern of furrows placed about 30 centimeters apart, running east-west, and others spaced about 190 centimeters apart. I'm so sorry for this. Apart, running north-south. A pattern remarkably similar to the one that is practiced even now. So how are the furrows placed? The furrows are also placed something like this, guys. Okay? So you can see they are again intersecting at right angles. So here you grow one crop and here you grow another, or here you grow one and here you grow another. So this is the kind of multi-cropping or crop rotation you can say that they were doing. This is also an indicator of the fact that Indus Valley people knew how to do crop rotation. राइट तो ये बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है कि इनको पता था कि भाई क्रॉप रोटेशन हमें कैसे करना है कि नहीं. सो दैट इज समथिंग यू हैव टू रिमेंबर, एंड दिस इज रिमार्केबली सिमिलर टू समथिंग दैट वी प्रैक्टिस इवन नाउ. जो आज भी प्रैक्टिस हो रही है उससे ये बहुत ज़्यादा सिमिलर है. नाउ इवन टुडे सिमिलर प्लाउइंग इज यूज्ड for simultaneous cropping in this region, especially of mustard and gram. In order to preserve it, the excavated ploughed field was refilled after excavation and the area was marked by concrete pillar post. So even today, the same kind of ploughing method, this intersecting at right angles, the same kind of ploughing method was being used, alright, where it is still being used particularly for growing mustard and for growing gram. And once the site was excavated, to preserve the site, to preserve that excavation, it was again refilled and then it was marked by pillars on four sides to indicate that this is a site and it should not be disturbed. A number of seals have been found, but most noteworthy, again this is a very important point which you must remember. Most noteworthy is a cylindrical seal depicting a female figure between two male figures fighting or threatening with spears. This is also a mixed person bull observing. They are of rectangular shape. So we have found cylindrical seals like this. This is the shape that we are talking about, and we have found depicting a female figure between two male figures fighting or threatening with spears. So she's standing in the middle, and then there are two male figures standing on either side of her, and they're literally fighting each other with spears. So this is also an indicator that maybe women also learned how to fight. This is also an indicator of maybe some event which would have taken place. Okay. We have also found a seal which depicts bull and human mix. So again, as I told you in the last slide only, this is an indicator that maybe they were into some kind of imaginary characters or fictional characters like that. So this is all about Kali Bankan. Now if you have any doubts here, you can let me know, otherwise we will move ahead. चलिए हम आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now let's talk about सुरको ताड़ा. इसको हम लोग सुक्ता गेंदोर भी बोलते थे एक point of time पे, but that's how the pronunciation is. So who excavated the site? It was excavated by J.P. Joshi in 1964. Who excavated it? J.P. Joshi, 1964. It is located on the Kutch district of Gujarat. So where is it located? It is located in Gujarat on the banks of Sadi Khari River. Harappan made settlement in this Indus Valley site during the later phase of Harappan civilization. So remember, I told you that there is a later phase of Harappan civilization. So early, mature and later. So this site actually belonged to the later phase of Harappan civilization. Now this is the only Harappan site where the actual remains of horse bones have been found. This is a very important point, guys. Do not forget this point, that this is the only site in Harappan civilization where actual remains of horse bones have been found, which is a major indicator that horses were known to them. Now, it is a fortified Harappan site which covers an area of about 3.5 acres. On the east side of the city, we have the residential complex. On the west side, we have the citadels. Citadels were located higher than the residential complex. This I've already told you. Let's talk about the major archaeological finds which are here. First of all, we have horses, elephants and wolf bones. Very interesting. Main hai hamare horses or elephants. Some fortifications have also been found. Okay. So during 1974, Archaeological Survey of India undertook excavations of this site. J.P. Joshi, who was the first to excavate the site, and A.K. Sharma reported finding of bones at all levels. Fine. So at all levels of occupation, they have found bones. So maybe this is also an indicator that maybe towards the later part or towards the later part of the Indus Valley civilization, horses would have been used. Now, Sando Boknoi, on examining the bone samples found in Sukta Gendor, opinioned that at least 6 samples probably belong to a true horse. So when he was excavating all of these bone samples, he found out that out of whatever samples we have got, 6 samples belonged at least to the true horse. So yes, horses were known to them, and the only place where you have found remains of horse is in Sukta Gendor. Now, we also have presence of mongooses, which has been found in Sukta Gendor, in Mohenjo-daro, Harappa and Rangapur as well, indicating that these animals were kept as protection against snake. Because see, snakes would obviously be found wherever there is grains, because there will be rats. Wherever you have rats, you have snakes. And mongooses were basically kept for what? They were kept for protection against snakes. Also, please remember this point. This is very interesting and very important. Elephant bones and wolf bones have also been found. This I've already told you. So if there's any doubts, you guys can let me know if there's anything you did not understand. Otherwise, we can move ahead. Okay. चलिए अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं. So we have 2 more sites to go. We have Rakhi Garhi and then we have Dholavira. So the excavation of this site, Rakhi Garhi, began in 1963. It is actually a fairly recent site that we have discovered. It is in Hisar district of Haryana. The excavation of this site revealed that Rakhi Garhi was one of the most well-planned cities of Harappan civilization, and it consists of an urbanized sewage system. Please remember this point, ये बहुत ज़्यादा important है guys, that it is one of the most well-planned cities and also contains urbanized sewage system. Now, this IVC site appears to be large as Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. The Global Heritage Fund considers Rakhi Garhi as one of the oldest as well as the largest site of Indus Valley civilization. Again, very important. Why? Because it is as big as Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, and according to Global Heritage Fund, this is one of the biggest sites that we have discovered, or the largest site that we have discovered in Indus Valley civilization. Now, this can definitely come as a question. The pottery is similar to what we have found in Kalibangar and Banavali. So let's take a look at the major archaeological finds. We have found bronze toys, which is you can say a development from terracotta toys. We have found terracotta statues. We have found granary with 7 rectangular chambers, which is an indicator that yes, grains would have been stored here. We have found traces of cotton cloth on the weave. On the back of the seals maybe, we have found the weaves on silver and bronze artifacts. So we have found traces of cotton on silver and bronze artifacts. So maybe these silver and bronze artifacts would have been dressed up in cotton cloths, just like we dress up our gods in different beautiful clothing. So maybe they were also doing the same thing. A granary belonging to the mature phase, which is from 600 to 1900, has been found. I've already told you about the granary. The granary is made of mud bricks. Fine. The floor is plastered with mud. जैसे कहते हैं ना मिट्टी से लीपा हुआ. The floor has been plastered with mud. It has 7 chambers. We have already talked about this, where the grain would have been stored. We have found significant traces of lime. Decomposed grass has been found, indicating that it could also be the storehouse of grains, with lime used as insecticide and grain used to prevent entry of moisture. Grass used to prevent entry of moisture. Now, this is a very important point, guys. Please remember this, that at this point of time also, people were using what is known as insecticide. So what were they using for insecticide? They were using lime for insecticide, and the grains would have been covered with grass. Why? So that the moisture does not enter and it does not spoil the grain. Okay, and looking at the size, it appears that it might have been a public granary, where all the public grain or the grains for the common people would have been stored. So I really hope this is clear. Let me know if you have any doubts. Alright, let's do the last site, which is Dholavira. Again, it's very, very, very important, guys, because we have found evidence of what? We have found evidence of reservoirs here. Very important, हमें यहाँ पे evidence मिला है किसका? We have found evidence of reservoirs. Reservoir was the first, Dholavira was first discovered in 1967 and was excavated by R.S. Bisht in 1985. It is also again one of the largest sites of Indus Valley civilization. It is located in the Kutch district of Gujarat. Where is it located? In the Kutch district of Gujarat. Recently in 2015, a step well was also discovered. So step well is like a bauli where there are steps and you can then enter into a well. It was thrice the size of the Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro. So the Great Bath is the step well that has been discovered is thrice the size, 3 guna hai. Please remember this point. This is again, very important. Various reservoirs have been found during the excavations. It can be inferred that an advanced water management system was being employed. So as I told you in the beginning, only a lot of reservoirs have been found, which is an indicator that they had a very advanced system of water working. And basically this was also a place where irrigation would have been important, and also a place from where irrigation activities would have taken place for other cities as well. The entire city is divided into two parts. Now generally the city is divided into three parts, but this city is divided into, generally the city is divided into two parts, but this city is divided into three parts, guys. Okay? So please remember this, again, very important point. Citadel, middle town, and then we have the lower town. It is the only Harappan town with such a division. So please remember this. This can come as a question. Let us see the artifacts which have been discovered. We have discovered a signboard, very interesting. We have discovered large reservoirs and dams. We have also discovered a figure of a chariot which has been tied to bullocks, which was driven by nude men. We don't really know what to make of this. Maybe this was just a figure, this was just a drawing, this was just an artistic representation, or it might have been something else also. And we have also discovered usage, okay, usage of rocks in construction. So earlier bricks were being used, but now we have discovered usage of rocks also in the construction. So that's about it, guys. Today we have discussed almost all the very important sites of Indus Valley civilization. I have also marked the most important points from which you can expect questions. So I really hope that you understood this. I really hope that you enjoyed the class, and I really hope that everything was clear to you all. Again, if there's any doubt, you can definitely put it up in the comment section, and you can let me know that this is something you have not understood and you would want me to explain again. I will definitely take a class for that. And again, before I end the session, I would request everyone to do join us on the Telegram group. You can scan this code, or you can just click on the link which is given below and you can join us on Telegram. And before you go, please do subscribe to the channel, like the video, share with your friends, comment, and do press the bell button, because then only will you get notified about any new videos that we post. And we're really looking forward to having an interaction with you all. We would love to hear from you. So that's it for today. So thank you very much. See you guys. Take care. Bye bye.